my community. So good morning, good morning, good morning. I am Lolita E. Walker. I am a certified life leadership and executive coach. Yes, I am here as one of the hostesses, I like to say, with the mostest for Breakfast with Champions as a co-host. And you see that we have so many amazing co-hosts that are in the building. And I love to bring a little bit of coaching, cocktails, and conversations to you every single Thursday, right? At 7 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I want to say hello to everybody who is joining. Today we're talking about multiplying sales by building a powerful community. Multiplying sales by building a powerful community. And I want to take a step back a little bit because guess what? We talked last week is this notion of group, right? I left you with GROUP to kind of lean in to what a group was and getting inside of that environment, making yourself feel all cozy and bright. Hey, Dora Maria, I love to see you here. Listen, let's talk about community. So, I'm going live on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube. And of course, I'm in Breakfast with Champions, which is right there on Clubhouse, which I absolutely love. But what is coaching, cocktails, and conversations? And what's my intention for today, right? Coaching is where I leave you with a little bit of nuggets just to challenge your thinking. Leave the rest at the bus stop if you can't use it. Absolutely. You're going to hear a lot of folks today. And today in this hour, I want to pour into you so that I can hear back from you. Cocktails is not so much about what you're sipping on. Okay. There's absolutely no judgment. But can I show you guys this for those of you all looking on? Look at this. Coaching, Cocktails, and Conversations has some paraphernalia, you all, and I'm so excited about it. And it also says right here, Cocktails is really about celebrating the greatness of who it is that you are when you decide to show up right here. We're going to talk showing up. And then Conversations is the absolute juiciness of what we are seeing right now. So here's a super shout out to Jacqueline. Hey, Jackie, good morning. Good to see you. Hey, Lynn Luckett, telling me to come on and bless this mic. We are going to do just that with you all's help. Hi, Dr. Jeannie. I'm so excited to see you. Good morning, Christina. And of course, hey, Soul. Hey, so, and Lynn Luckett said the merch, baby. Yes, yes, yes. We'll get around to that in a second. But let me lean into, a power acronym. If this is your first time ever seeing me, I love a powerful acronym. I do. I love it because it helps to sit in our soul. I love it because it helps me to not only give you an acronym, but talk about the action steps that's related to each one of them, which ties right on into what we do right here at the breakfast table that I like to call my kitchen table. So today I want to leave you with sales, S-A-L-E-S, S-A-L-E-S. Hey, Ava, Avi, let's just take a step back on what is this sales. How do we think of sales? Now I looked it up in my handy dandy Google fingers right there, and it said the exchange of a commodity for money. Then it said the action of selling something, right? But what if I said, hey, you all, let's imagine for a minute. Let's imagine for a minute that we always sell ourselves. What if I shared with you that every single time you open your mouth, you are giving someone the opportunity to lean in a little bit further with you? It is an invitation to do business with you, to further this conversation. It is a choice to engage and stay a little bit longer. What if we imagine sales was a conversation? Can you imagine that we show up in it every day? I mean, right? Can you imagine it? I want you to think a little bit with me. And what if I asked you to shift your thinking just a little bit around multiplying sales, which is us having a juicy conversation by building a powerful community, of which, guess what? I have 4 communities that's intertwining today. Yes, bring it. Let's go. S-A-L-E-S. Come on, right? There she is. I am here for it. Justin says, and last week I shared with you guys, why have I not been going live? And Justin was a pure catalyst and an inspiration to me, saying, oh my gosh, just get on there and do the thing. Yes, we are going to lean in. I want you to see me. I want to save my content. Yes, you can hear it on Breakfast with Champions if you miss anything, and you can hear it all there. You can even hear the juiciness of the live conversation we're going to have after this. But in the beginning, come on now, we get those training wheels off. We leap, because our faith and our strengths have wings to protect our fall. And we know, because we're building such a powerful community, because we're leveraging the power of our networks, that if we fall, when we fall, then there is a powerful community that is there to lift us back up and to push us right back inside of the ring, because they're there to cheer for us. right? The S, the A, the L, the E, the S. So let's get started, all right? And then the way this little shindig works right here is then we're going to go back into the Clubhouse room today and have a juicy conversation for all of you all that are there. If you're a part of my Facebook community, guess what? We talk all the time. And so I'll pop in there later on. LinkedIn, hello friends. And then YouTube, we are making some things happen over here. Okay, you ready? I am too. The S, okay? The S I want to talk to you about multiplying this notion of this conversation in the hows. You're going to leap into this thing by building a powerful community. The S is about sitting on the foundation of your faith and your strengths. Why? Because we know that yes is not always going to come on the other end of that. There's going to be some times where people are not really up to hearing what we have. They have experiences where people only try to sell. I'm talking about getting money, and they miss the conversation. Today, we're talking about leaning into recognizing who it is that you are before you leap. Why? Because as Kate also says, clarity needs to be first and foremost. So what am I saying? You already know the 3C equation for success, according to Lolita E. Walker. Clarity plus confidence equals the commitment of how you are going to show up every single day, right? Absolutely. So when you're clear, I love that Kate said, where did I write it down? Kate said, clarity, what do you want? Right? So let me look at this equation and I'm telling you, what do you want for the clarity plus the confidence of who it is that I'm selling to? Let me get real clear, right? Let me get real clear. Clarity plus confidence, knowing these things, and then also the commitment of where it is that you're headed is going to be so important. Those are the things, everybody, that is really going to help us lean in. Oh my gosh, I get so excited when I'm here. Yes, AV said, S.A.L.E.S, here it comes. So the S is sitting on the foundation of your strengths and your faith. Because when we leap, we have to understand what is surrender. And I have so many stories for that, right? Where are we trusting ourselves? How am I going to have a juicy conversation with somebody and ask them to lean into what it is that I'm doing and invite them to come on board as we've been talking about for these sales, if in fact, I'm not really clear, I'm not really confident, and I'm not really committed to where it is that I'm going. I'm just saying, we want to think about those things, right? Yes, yes, and yes. The A, authentically move and behave. Nobody can do it like Lolita E. Walker. Nobody. I am friends with so many amazing certified coaches. I am friends with so many amazing, powerful speakers. I am friends with so many amazing poets. Okay. But nobody can do it like Lolita E. Walker. And you've got to be able to know without a shadow of a doubt, who am I? And what am I bringing to the table? What is the value that I am bringing to somebody else? And I want to challenge you all with that today. What's the value that I'm adding to this conversation? Because if it's none, what did we talk about last week or either 2 weeks ago? Do it, delegate it, or disappear. Your time is valuable and tomorrow's not promised, right? Oh my gosh. Nobody. I hear you, Jackie. Yes, yes, and yes. Right? Okay. Lean into believing in you. That's right. You got to know that nobody can do it like you. They might get over for a little while because they might take your words here. I might hear somebody, unfortunately, using Lolita's 3C equation for success. But when you dig into it and when you get past the shallow at the top, past those, fancy little keywords, digging down deep is going to be so important. So you've got to dig down deep inside of you, right? Nobody's going to believe you. And they definitely won't be that repeat client or that repeat customer, as I think it was Justin that was talking earlier today, right? Oh my gosh, I absolutely love it. The L, I want you guys to lean into believing in you. So many of my clients I speak to, and they have so many amazing ideas, big ideas. So whether you are a housewife, whether you are been working in corporate for 30 years and you're ready to shift, what we do know is that there's more inside of us that is ready to pop. But I want you to lean into believing that I am greatness. So why is it that I talked about strengths at the beginning of what this sales, I'm going to call it a conversation, is for us today? I leaned in because if you don't know who you are, then it's going to be very tough for somebody to come on board and trust you. Oh, are y'all getting it? Because I sure get it. Okay. Yes. Augusta said on YouTube, fire, lean all the way in, dig down deep inside of yourself. Absolutely. Okay. Here's a question folks always ask me. Lolita, how can I begin leaning into myself? Oh my gosh. So I have this notebook. I know it's Coaching Cocktails and Conversations because I'm so excited about my gear. So this is my latest journal. I'm ready for coaching, cocktails, and conversations. Let's talk community. I asked inside of my Facebook group, hey, you guys, I already have a logo. This is where I'm going with merchandise. I'd love to have somebody help me with what the one liner is. There's some garb in it for you, some gear. I say garb, gear, whatever you have. And there was so many coming back, but Linda inside of our community right here in my Facebook group and also on Clubhouse said, "Are you ready for?" And I looked at that. I'm like, ah, and yes, but I'm ready. I'm ready right now. So leaning into your community and recognizing that I want to lean into the belief in myself. I want to lean into what I bring to the table because I know when I get clear on that thing right there, I'm going to be super fire. So how do you lean in, right? First start journaling. I love it. Kate always talks about these journaling prompts she has, and she has 77 free ones. I have 44 journaling prompts that really can leap you and propel you. And when I think of Kate, I think that let's talk community. When I purchased her books, she has a new book out that's really all about prompts and creativity and creating for no reason. And there's these journaling prompts throughout the entire book. And I purchased those, one for every single woman that chooses to come to my Women's Weekend Renewal Retreat, September 15th through the 18th. Why did I do that? Not only to support Kate, but I want to lean into her strengths. And because I know that there's absolutely no competition, I want to introduce her by way of her work into my community because I think it's great. And I can leverage that because I'm secure in who it is that I am. And I know what it is I'm going to bring to the table for these power women, September 15th through the 18th. Then I recognize that, yes, I will take her book and we will leverage that daily. But I will also take coaching, cocktails, and conversations because there's for two different purposes. You understand what I mean? When you lean in to knowing the intention of where it is you're going and how you're going to get to that thing, then you don't worry about distractions because that's not helping for your long-term sales. I'm talking about your sales as a conversation of the juiciness. People come into who they know, they like, and they trust. So how can I trust you? Right? Oh, so good. I absolutely love this stuff. E. I have E as oh, this is a good one. This is a good one. You ready? Exercising resources to get to the transformation. Let me tell you guys about that. When you think about exercise, y'all, what you think about doing? Working, right? But I want you to think about the transformation of it all. It's the why of it all. Why are you doing that thing? You might be doing it because you gotten some news for health. You might be doing it because it makes your body feel good. You might be doing it because your mama's always did it. Whatever the case is, you understand your why. And so when I say exercise, this is Avi. She said, this is my 8th notebook. I am journaling in. Oh, have you ever gone back through it? It's so super good. Work it, Lolita. Yes. Come on, Babs, international voice coach. I love that. Yes. When I say exercise, I want you to think of doing this work because of your why and leaning in to the transformation that's on the other side. Now, I'm talking about exercising your networks. Somebody thinking, how am I going to do that? Oh, I'm talking to me too. Exercising your networks, meaning help the people that's inside of your community do some work too. Because here's the thing is that they probably want to help and they have absolutely no clue how to do it. So let's get in the mindset of let me go through my connections. Let me go through the places where I haven't yet reminded them that, hey, I leaped into entrepreneurship. Hey, guess what? I want to have a one-on-one with you in this organization because my desire is not only to be at this amazing level where I am, but I want my goal is 3 levels up. So how can I get a one-on-one with that person right there to talk to them about my hopes, my goals, my dreams, my aspirations, and talk to them about the question like what is it that I could do in order to get to the place that you sit right now? What is it that I can do to push myself a little bit further? What is it that I can do and how can I learn from you? Let's talk about gaining mentors. Let's talk about the power of the ask. Today, we're talking about multiplying the sales, this conversation by building a powerful community and then leveraging that powerful community. Oh my gosh, so good. Exercise, it all works. Yes, yes. And that's coming from an exercise coach. I love that HHMBC Augusta said, when we sow into others, it is always a win for ourselves. Yes. A positive harvest will await you if we refuse to support others. How can we expect others to support us. Mm. And here's the thing, you guys, support, this is about the multiplying the sales, is that support sometimes doesn't always look financial. So let's talk about that. Let's just kill the elephant that's in the room and talk about it for a minute. Support could also look like showing up in a conversation. Support could mean sharing a content. Support could look like liking something. A support could look like a DM. Support could look like, ooh, a connection. Oh, you know what? I know that Lolita's superpower is really into power women, just like a lot of you that are in the room right now, grabbing the greatness out of them, being able to reframe it and help them to leap beyond where they are today. I know she does that well. I know when she goes into organizations and works with diverse teams that she helps them to lean into clarity, to confidence, and to commitment. I know when she gets on a stage, whether it is to MC or whether it is as a keynote speaker, that she's going to bring some tangibles and she's going to engage her team. Because folks know that we can show up in that. Because folks know that. Why is it a result of that? It's because showing up. It's about the sales I talked to you about. It's about sitting on the foundation of my faith and strengths. It's about authentically moving, because when Lolita shows up, you know exactly what you're going to get. So when I look inside of this community, when Zora Maria shows up, I know what she's going to get. When Monica shows up, I know what I'm going to get, right? When Pastor Jeff shows up, I know what Pastor Jeff is going to give to me. And he's actually been let me give a shout out to Pastor Jeff, who's here today. I have not felt well. I didn't feel well yesterday, and I'm still my head is bothering me. I'm going to the doctor today. But Pastor Jeff, last week, I told you Justin had just inspired me. I woke up and I'm like, there's no reason I'm not going live. Today is the day, done, right? He talked about how I called him and left him a message because I was in my own way. How am I going to be talking to people about leaping when I've been in my entire way? Because it happens all of the time, right? I was in my way about something, which was going live, because I assumed I had to get all these fancy connections and I just didn't have it. I wasn't prioritizing it, right? And it's okay because I chose not to prioritize it, although I felt like I knew that it was important. But as I started finally doing the action of exercising my resources, I leaned in. I left a message for Justin. And as I'm talking to him, true story, as I'm talking to him, the revelation came. I was like, oh, I just told myself how to do it. Thanks, Justin. See you at the next session. Because I'd already answered it. How easy was it to do that? Then I piped in because I'm exercising my community. I said, all right, Lolita, now that you're doing this, what's the next level? We got to get some piping in something. And I was in my own way. I don't know how to do it. So why am I overwhelming myself when I could call Pastor Jeff? Oh my goodness. And it ended up being such a great conversation. Today, we're talking about multiplying your sales by building a powerful network. And when you've built a powerful network, exercise your network and ask for the help that you need. I know those are a lot of words all in once. Okay. Then the S is about shifting to follow through. Yeah, y'all, we got to shift. We actually got to follow through. I'm talking to me as well. Sometimes we have to actually follow through with the initial ask. And you might have to follow through more than once or more than twice or more than 3 times in some cases. But what you're able to do is also be clear, right, on what is it that you're asking, why is it that you're asking it, and how can it be a win for you and a win for them. People want to understand what the win is for them. So as we multiply these sales, this S, this A, this L, this E, this S, it's really me powering into you, leaning into you to help you to recognize that sales. What if we shifted the perspective? What if the perspective today really is that it is a juicy conversation where I am inviting someone to come along? It is a choice. But for me to invite you to come along, for you to get out of your bed, for you to stop doing the things that you do, for you to adjust a little bit differently, for you to even engage, invest, and come on board with me for anything in life, right? I got to show up consistently. So Google me, right? If you want me for coaching, then you do the research. If you want me for a conversation, and guess what? I've been showing up for conversations for almost 2 years right here on Clubhouse. For you all on YouTube, I'm building this community, so come on in. But the point is, you can see me in consistency. Ask. We've been talking about, there's so many scammers now. People are so desperate to get sales because things are so high right now. Gas, y'all, it cost me $70 to fill my car the other day. $70. Gas is up to $5 where I am, right? People need money. And so shifting your perspective is going to be so important, including me, right? Strategizing with somebody about how am I going to multiply these sales? How am I going to now have a different strategy because the environment has changed? The landscape looks a little different, right? I was in the sun, but now I'm seeing some terrain. I might need to hydrate. Where's the next gas station? I might need to fuel up. How much water am I going to put in here with me? You got to check out the landscape so now you can play this game called life differently, walk this thing called life differently, and by building our powerful community. Oh my gosh. The follow through is a must. You follow through and it yielded a great ROI. Pastor Jeff, exactly. And so Pastor Jeff was ready. He said to me, he said, absolutely, Lolita. There wasn't even a question. The first thing that we did was he went through, all right, this is the equipment. And he was going, I must say, he was going into, you got to get this because of da-da-da-da. I said, Pastor Jeff, hold on. This right here is adding a little bit of chaos. And what I do know from even listening to Amelia and being inside of the genius community is I know my should nots. And so one of my should nots is Lolita should not work in any chaos. I should not bring additional chaos to what's inside my mind because I'm clearing out the weeds. And because I know that I said, Pastor Jeff, hold on, let's do step one, right? Let's do step one because I set the pace. When we're multiplying ourselves and building a powerful community, we can help with building that powerful community by leaning in. So I trusted Pastor Jeff and what he said to me because he's also used his equipment for me before. And so it was easy. I called him because I trusted him. And I was able to say, hey, let's take step one. That's important to me. And when I get it, I'll go with step two, which is how and why, right? I know my why, but why am I hooking this thing in? I don't know. And I don't want to know until I get it here, right? And so Pastor Jeff had a great idea. Lolita, let's record this thing. Absolutely. Couldn't do it yesterday, but guess what? But y'all going to be ready next week, Thursday. Okay. We piping it all in because we're taking that next step. Oh, it's so good. Exercise your community in ways that it is a win-win. And Pastor Jeff and anybody here knows you can call me for whatever it is that you need when you're clear on what it is that you're looking for. Oh my gosh. Jackie said, try $6 plus in Chicago. Oh, that made my heart hurt. Oh, AV said consistency and commitment. Yes. So what I am going to do is I left everybody with the S, the A, the L, the E, the S. And so I'm going to end this amazing broadcast. I love it. And I'm headed on in to Breakfast with Champions on the Clubhouse app so that we can engage in some juicy conversation. The reason why, let me see, they shifted the app. It is over 150 people that are inside of the room right now. And so I cannot wait to have amazing conversations. I want to thank each and every one of you all for tapping into the live version. Yes, right here on Facebook in my community, Coaching Cocktails and Conversations. Listen, if you're not a part of it, come on in because we have some juicy conversations over there. LinkedIn, you got to come on in. I'm so excited that you are here. Thank you so much. Absolutely. And Lynn Luckett said, when community becomes your focus, sales happens. Come on, Lynn Luckett. That is so good. Yes, exactly what I've been saying. When the community becomes your focus, right? Sales happen. Oh my gosh. So good. Sometimes, let me talk about this because I'm going to talk about this in the Clubhouse room. Sometimes let's even reshape community. Community is when we gather, right? Like-minded people, right? Let me see what my friend Google said because I wrote it down. Oh, yes. When you gather like-minded people that have a particular characteristic. Oh my gosh. So I'm going to say like-minded. When you have those people around you, then you shift differently. Let's think about community. Community could be resources, right? I have a community library that's right here pouring into you. So I want you to think about it as what things are groups of like-minded things that are pouring into me so that now I could pour into others. Building this community, right? Building this community is so important because we're leaning into ourselves. Yes. Thank you for this beautiful community. Oh my gosh. Absolutely. And hands down. All right, you guys, I want to head on over to Clubhouse and I'll see you next Thursday. If you're not tapped into all of the amazingness that I'm doing live, oh my goodness, you got to join my communities and get into it. LolitaWalker.com/coaching cocktails conversations and listen to this full podcast on Breakfast with Champions. Make sure you're doing that as well. All right. Hey, Clubhouse.